Hi everyone, I think this is episode 5 of my little garden. It's more like my little jungle now. I've pretty much neglected this for about 3 or 4 weeks because I've just been too busy to get on with this particular project. I've had other things to do and whatnot. So I'm going to clear a load of stuff out, ready for planting some more stuff over the next few weeks. So lettuce and cabbages have been attacked by slugs, as they usually do, but you get some out of it. Well, I'm going to anyway. Right, so there's a lettuce that have gone to seed and all sorts. It's just one thing that happens if you don't keep on top of things. Yeah, I mean the peas will be fine, some of the lettuce, the middles will be alright, some of the outer ones are shot at, but if you've got any like guinea pigs or anything, it'll be fine for them. Strawberries have got flowers on, onions are getting fair size now, you know, they're starting to thicken up. So we'll get on with harvesting, I think. So it's just a case of harvesting half or whatever you've got and start butchering. And there's a big slug hiding in there already, or two. Plenty of slugs. Gardener's worst nightmare. So yeah, you know, I've got lettuce. Plenty of lettuce actually. So my pet tortoise will be okay. Another one, a bit brown at the bottom, but all that bottom bit you just pull off, you know, and you're left with the rest of it. Now you can just compost down. Same with the cabbages. I don't want them any bigger than this because they're just a green for slicing up, so they can come out now. Pull the roots out and everything. Just tap some compost off. Right, a few greens, you shred them up if you want. Another one there. So these are mainly just put in to keep the pea roots cool, but you know I need the peas to start coming to an end now too. Obviously because I'm hoping to get some cucumber in that spot, which is not quite ready. I'll show you the little plants after. Get rid of this, like this lettuce is kind of bolted this. But you know, you can still eat the green off the top. Get rid of all this outside junk and compost it. So there's squeeze around that side now and get rid of some of that lot. This is the endive lettuce that's shot to seed. Nice, a bit blunt today. Nope. Shot to seed, but you can pick some of these off and have them as a little salad leaf. So go over there with them. Get rid of that one. That'll freeze you up for my runner beans. All there. Clean them all up after. Oh, so there's got plenty of lettuce. Overrun with lettuce. The carrots can have a bit of daylight now because they've been a bit collapsed, buried under everything. So let's stand this lot here for now. Best thing to do when you pull anything really is get it submerged in some water for a bit. It kind of what I call cures it, stops it from wilting so fast. Right, so that's all that lot. It's quite a bit of lettuce. Right, so what we got now? Show a little clear up. Bits of foliage knocking around. Looks like something's been enjoying one of my leeks. More slugs. Can get rid of these little sticks now that we're marking out my carrots. Then, so peas, I'll try and find a pod that's okay. I'll just bring it to the screen. I don't know how well this is going to look. Try and look at it upside down. You know, there's peas in there. They probably won't go in the house. They'll probably go straight off this plant into my gob. You know, that's the one that's a little bit older. Plenty of peas. Best off eating like this, to be honest. So, excuse me, I'm just going to shove these in my gob. You can also let some of these pods go a bit ripe, a bit overripe, and then save them for your seeds next year or later on, because they're an early pea, so you can get another crop of these if you plant them in maybe July. Right, so that's that done. So I'll try and find somewhere to put the camera and get some runner beans planted. They're a bit older runner beans now, but we'll get them in anyway. Right, I'm going to get this, put this little cane here for now, just to keep them peas back over there. Leaks, I'll have to try and brave it out. Get these runner beans out of my polytunnel. So I planted some of the allotment, so these are just leftovers. I don't know how well they'll do, they're a bit big now. But we'll get them in. Try and get hold of some root. I've even not got a trowel in this, so it's going to have to be one of them hand dig specials. I'll not use that one, it's got a snap top on it. That one doesn't look too bad. Like I said before, this project is more for you, the viewers, than me. So, in the toilet tubes, just going to plant the toilet tube and everything. Just make a hole, bury the whole tube, it'll firm down, and you can start your pea off, but wrap it anti-clockwise. For some reason, I don't know why, they always go anti-clockwise. I've got quite a few runner beans here that are all rammed together, they're all tangled up and all sorts. I'm not going to put too many in here. Down in there. Because these are going to get really tall, these, but I'm not going to let them, I'm just going to keep nipping the tops off. Need to make sure you give it a bit of a water after. Same with that. Send this fella anti-clockwise too. Yeah, give it a few days and it'll just find its own. Sometimes it can be a little bit stubborn and not want to play, but they're usually okay. You can put sweet corn out now if you want. We've got sweet corn. If you haven't got a square bed, don't plant sweet corn in a straight run. It needs to be planted in a block. Sweet corn can be a bit tricky at times. It's not ideal for a beginner. Just make a bigger hole. I should have set this up somewhere else really. Give me a bit more room to work on it, but easier said than done. If you've got the room, you're alright. Same with that, anti-clockwise. So you don't need to do too many runner beans because they don't half give out a crop. There, I think I'll do just one more if I can find one that's not an absolute tangle with everything else. God, they're absolutely really tangled up these. That's what happens when you go on holiday, I suppose. Come back and you think, I'll get on with that tomorrow. Day after that, day after that. Before you know it, you're miles behind and it's got a bit out of hand. But I've done it before. Don't get it right all the time. Just do whatever you can do. This one here looks like most of the toilet tube's actually broken down. We'll get rid of that top bit of the tube. It just looks like a big clump of roots with a bit of cardboard around it. Get rid of that one, that's not going in, that's going in the compost bin. It's the last one, I think. They ideally want something like 6 or 7 foot canes for runner beans. Because this is just a little sort of example. You know, if you can put big canes in, then do so. Same again, anti-clockwise. Watering can and give them a little water. Let them get on with it. And just keep a check on them for the next few days until they grab on themselves. You can put a little bit of string around if you want to. But, they're usually okay, they'll get old. Might get hold of everything else along the way. Right, so I'll set the camera off the stand and you can have a bit of a bird's eye view at everything. See, my carrots have been suffering for light. Hopefully they should stand up a little bit by now. In fact, they are. Strawberry runner. I might as well show you this while we're on it. If you want more strawberry plants, fine. All you have to do, get something that looks like that, lay it on the soil and it'll sprout roots out. And after about 6 weeks you can cut this and then you'll have another strawberry plant. But I don't want any more because I've got plenty. So I'm just going to follow it back to the plant. Try to pinch it off. That's basically what your strawberry runner looks like. You've got flowers here. These will be strawberries before you know it. Another runner there, you see. So they start putting runners out, it hinders the plant a little bit because they want to reproduce. I'm saying no, I want more fruit. You know, put all your energy into the fruit. They spread like wildfire. I've not fed any of these. I mean, there's a little tunnel, you can see that there. Strawberry there. Needs to grow now. Spring onions are trying to find a way through. But they'll be fine, you can just have them as little onions. Culprit. Just a slug, get rid of him. But same. Peas, there's plenty of pods on here. So I'll give these a few more weeks and I'll get rid of them. Right, so we'll have a look at the next thing. Right, so the next thing I'm going to be planting, I'm going to put a tomato plant in here now. It's a bit crowded still, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to put it in a pot as well. The variety of this is Alicante. It's in a deep pot. You can be quite brutal with them because they'll just sling out new roots. So still no trowel, so it's use what God gave you. Just going to hollow it out. I mean, you can, if it's in a bigger pot, you can just cut the bottom off the pot and sit it on top of it if you want. That would work just perfectly fine too. But I haven't got time for that. Plus, this is, like I say, it's experimental. You know, I've got polytunnel full of tomatoes, so it's not like I'm dependent on this. I'm just showing you, you know, what you can do. That's right down to the bottom of the bed, that. You can grow them in grow bags if you want. Get a good deep one if you can, though. Some of them are like concrete pillows. Right, so it's not been watered, it's fairly dry. But I don't mind, because I'm going to water it after anyway. So basically get my pot, just check how deep it is. It's near enough the same height, so that's good enough for me. I'm going to get it, squeeze the bottom, come out, so it's got a massive fruit ball on it. Just going to lower that in there, like that. I'm going to kind of sort of hill this compost around it a little bit, just making sure it's all firmed in. all I've done with these two long canes here, I've just put one in each corner of the square and tied them together at the top. So that I can, I've got a little cane on this already, so I can slide that little cane out. I'm going to use another cane, thinner end, because obviously there's only a thin hole down there at the moment. Find that, push that down into the same hole, all the way down, then tie it at the top. Put it to the other side, I think. On that hole, there it is. Tie it down there. And just tie it to these other two canes. Just to give it a bit of support. You can grow it up like a bush. That's that. Then you can get a little bit of string, not too tightly, because it's going to obviously get quite fat, this stem, at some points. So it's not there to be anchored tightly to. Leave the gap if you want so it's loose, because it'll only slide down to wherever the sort of leaf truss is. I'll tell you about pinching out suckers in a minute. So that's all I do with that. And obviously that's important stuff. Give it a right good watering in. And then feed this probably every 2 weeks with tomato feed. Right, here's one of the cucumbers that will end up in here. Don't know whether you can see it, so I'll just bring it closer. There. That is a market mall cucumber. It's an outdoor one. You don't have to do all this pinching male flowers and all that malarkey, so it's fairly straightforward. They are a bit tricky to get going because they do stem rot quite easily. So the idea is you bottom water them. You don't want to be watering any of this sort of cucumber and stuff, splashing it and all that lot. Just only wet by the rains, okay. Right, so we'll get on with the next thing. Right, here we go, back to the so-called buckets. Like I said, would come in handy. If you've not got any, you can use pots or whatever, any square tubs, as long as it's got some drainage holes in. I've drilled drainage holes in this about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, so you'll end up with a little water reservoir in the bottom, sort of. Right, so this sort of pre-watered this compost. I've put a pot in, same size what the plants are in. It's just easy to put things in that way. So another cucumber, another tomato plant here. This is, it's got a question mark on it, but it's possibly Gardener's Delight. It's one of them that you forget to put a label in. So I'll try and do a close-up on the deal with suckers, you know, once I've got this in the bucket. And then that will just help you through the growing season then. Right, so I'll move that to one side. It's fairly straightforward. This pot is the same size as what that one's in. It's a big hole there now. Sling that to one side. Like that. Give it a smack on the back side. It should come out. Big massive roots again. Just get that, dump it in. Just firm him round it. Do it the same again, you can do like a bit of a wigwam around it if you want, but for now I'm just going to put just one cane in. It's just if it gets windy and it topples the bucket over. Thin end again. Find your previous hole so you don't go ripping through a lot of roots. Slide that down. It doesn't have to be too straight because my canes aren't straight, and then get a bit of string. As you can see, I'm very, very organised. Not. So rushing about a bit today. I've got things to do, so I thought I'll squeeze this in because nobody's seen me since I went on my holiday. So, say not too tight. Yeah, you want it so it will move up and down. Scissors, you chop it. I mean, there's other stuff you can get like it. It's a bit like rubberized tube ties you can use. Right, I'll do the sucker thing in a second. There's just one more plant I want to get out of the way. To one side. Now, if you don't have a lot of space, I really don't recommend growing this. And if you don't like them, I won't grow them. I don't mind them. That's the courgette. They get absolutely humongous, and they don't half chuck out some courgettes. So if you can only use like maybe 3 or 4 a week, one plant's fine for that. You probably still have extra. You could let the other one go to marrow if you want, but they're all right. I'll leave it at that. So these can rot at the roots, so you don't want them like buried any lower than what they are in the pot. So I'll pull it out. It's quite root bound, this, because it's been here for a while. And just lower that in. I'm not going to push that down. I'm going to push the sides to it. You create kind of like a bit of a hill, if you know what I mean, in the middle. That just stops any excess water from gathering around the stem. There's nothing fancy about this compost. It's just straight out the bag B&Q multi-purpose. Nothing fancy in it at all. And all I'm going to do with that, I've got 4 short bits of cane here. This is just to stop it, because it will flop over, just to give it a bit of support. So I'm sort of imagining where the outside corners of the pot are, the inner pot. Push them in, like so. Push them right down if you want. So just watch if you're bending down near these things, because you don't want to poke your eye out on a cane. You can get like little Actimel bottles or something like that, put it over the top. That's that, and then you can wrap string around as it grows if you want to keep it all supported. It doesn't need it yet. So it's been watered, but I'll water it again after. Let it all settle in that. And that's your courgette. The variety is, I'm not sure to be honest. Might be Defender, I don't know, I can't remember. But most courgettes are the same, they all have the same principle. They all chuck out loads. I've got another variety of round ones, but they're going elsewhere yet. Right, so I'll bring the camera and I'll try and demonstrate this thing on the suckers. I'm hoping you can see this okay, because I can't see my screen very well. So basically, you have your tomato plant, you have your main stem, then you have a leaf truss that comes off, and then there's another leaf truss, and so on and so on, and then around here you'll get a thing called a fruit truss, which basically a stem with flowers on which you'll have tomatoes. But on most leaf trusses, as they come up, you follow it up, you'll get your stem going up there, and then a leaf truss going out this way, and then in between here, this is a side shoot, or a sucker I call them, and that is a full new tomato plant. If you let it grow, it'll make this bend over, and then you'll be trying to feed 2 tomato plants off one root ball. So you just basically get hold of that, bend it one way, and get rid of it. And you have to do that quite regular. You know, at least once, twice a week, and keep an eye on them. Once they have flowers on the tomato plants, you need to feed them. You can pollinate your tomato plants with an electric toothbrush, electric shaver, or just simply tap it, or let the bees do it. Just tap them not too hard, just to tap the pollen about. And then these petals will fall off and you'll end up with a tomato. I mean, under that one, that'll be a tomato. The petals are dying back now. So that's basically tomato in a pot, courgette in a pot, and then we've got over here tomato plant in the raised bed, peas, runner beans in, I've got a completely spare square there, so I might put another lettuce in. I shall see. Leeks are still at the back there, fine. I could put some more leeks in, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try and just leave a bit of space now, let the airflow go through it. Right, so that's that. Right, so the last thing I thought I'd mention would be the potato plants. As you can see, they're not tiny anymore. I'm sat next to it. There's 2 bags here. I've got another 3 down the garden as well, and some pots with spuds in. I've had to put some canes around and just support them because they're getting quite tall, the wind can snap them, and you don't want that happening, so just support them however you can. You know, make sure you're watering them as well, don't drown them. If you get flowers on them, not all potatoes produce flowers, but if you do get flowers on them, once the flowers have formed, that means potatoes are actually down there. Doesn't mean they're ready, not until the flowers drop off. So that's when you need to up your watering a bit, because obviously they want to grow and swell. So I should imagine about another month on these and they'll be ready to pull, I think. Unless the tops snap off, which I had on some not long ago. The tops got damaged in the wind. I brought them out of the polytunnel and I put them out here, and we had bad winds one night and it snapped the tops, so I had to just empty them out, and there was a lot of potatoes but they were tiny, so bit of a downfall, but it didn't work out the way I wanted to, but that's just the way it is, I suppose, and nothing works out exactly how you plan it. You can't plan the weather, and if you're busy you just think I'll do that later, and then it's later and later and later and it doesn't get done. So I think these are my Dukey Yorks, both these. I think altogether there should be 8 potatoes. There's 4 in each bag, and down there I've got International Kidney and Charlotte's. We've also got in tubs some Maris pears and that, so there will be a reveal of some potatoes at some point, as will there be on the allotment videos as well. Right, so we'll wrap this episode up. Say not much to be spoke about in this really. So it's mainly more planting, because all the sowing's really done. There's still some things you can sow now. You can keep your lettuce going in succession. If you pulled some, you can get some more in, sow some more. There's all that, and radish, anything fast like that, you can get in. But that's it for this episode. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. See you now. Bye.